Okay, if you're coming from my other video, well then, hello, welcome back. If you're not, you should watch it. It's my not spoiler video of this, but like, I don't really know why you would if you just care about the spoilers. Whatever, never mind. This is the spoiler video for Love, Simon. We're gonna talk about how I felt about the movie and all the things about it that I thought, and all the thinking thoughts that I thought and felt. And to preface again, I did not read the book, so I have nothing to compare it to. We're gonna talk about this movie, and oh my goodness, it hurt me so bad. I was fully prepared to cry throughout it because every time I saw the trailer, I just always teared up, but like, I didn't cry. I'm really shook. I had like napkins and everything. I was ready to cry, but all I did was like tear up. I got really close to crying. I feel like once I just like have a moment to just like sit down, maybe like watch a few videos about it and like listen to the soundtrack, and I will just like feel it and then I could cry, because it's really hard to cry in like a movie theater full of people because they're all just like, the vibe is weird, you know? So I didn't cry, but I really wanted to because I felt so many emotions because, oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna talk about, let's just start with the main character. Let's start with Simon. I love Simon. I love him a lot. He's such a sweet boy. I don't know what else to say besides I love him, but he's such a sweet boy. Like, oh, his friends. My friend who I went with, who has read the book, she said that this part happens differently. But in the movie, I did not like how his friends reacted to that whole situation. Because first of all, he gets outed and he has to deal with that whole turmoil, which is awful. Like, that should never happen to somebody. Like, that's such an awful thing to do. Like, Martin, I wanted to punch constantly. Every time I saw him, I was just like, you are disgusting scum of the earth. I want to punch you in the face. But Simon had to go through all that. He had to spend his whole winter break just like feeling the dread of having to go back to school after that happened. And guess what happened? His friends, his main support group, just ditch him. I was so mad because Abby and Nick, they're like, oh, we got together, we found out that you were just like lying to us and blah 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 blah. Why are you trying to get me with Martin? And like, Simon explains, like, oh, he was blackmailing me, I didn't want to be outed, and they were like, and then Abby says this whole line about, like, I'm not just a piece of meat for you to pawn off, blah, 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 and then they go off, and then they're just like, hey, Dip, we hate Simon, how would you do this to us? And then, I still don't know if her name's Leanne or Leah, I'm just gonna go with Leah, but Leah, she goes over to Simon, and she's just like, that's why you put me on the date with Nick, because you don't really care about me, you wanted to set me up for heartbreak, blah, 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 I was in love with you, which honestly kind of disappointed me, because for a half a minute, I really thought that she was a gay, because, you know, the gays, they come together. I really thought that she wasn't straight. I was kind of looking forward to that moment, but she wasn't. She was just in love with Simon. Okay, I'm filming this on a different day because as I was editing this video, I found out that I had more things to talk about. So, Leah, just to like explain why I thought she wasn't straight was because when Abby comes in like her Wonder Woman costume and Nick stands there just like gobsmacked, Leah has the exact same look on her face, and then she just has to like leave the room to go like make drinks or something like really abruptly, and it seemed a bit suspicious. It seemed a bit like they were both just sort of like, she's a bit too gorgeous, kind of freaking out right now. It seemed a bit suspicious. And then she had the whole talk with Simon where she was like, do you ever feel like you're so destined to love somebody that will never love you back so much that it hurts, or something like that? And I was like, that sounds pretty gay to me. So when she turned out to be like straight, kind of disappointing. Also, she made this whole argument about how he set her up for heartbreak, but literally the line before that, Simon says that he thought that she was in love with Nick and that it would just be a win-win situation if he was able to get Leah and Nick together. And then she's like, I can handle you being gay, but I can't handle you setting me up for heartbreak. I'm like, he literally didn't. He honestly thought that you liked Nick and that this was going to be a wonderful situation. Like, Leah, what you doing? That was like, she just got mad, and I was like, really? That's what you're all doing right now? After your best friend that two of you have known for 13 years gets outed and is going through all of this shit, you guys want to focus on the fact that when he was being blackmailed, he mistreated you? Like, that's really what we're caring about right now? I really don't think that that's the appropriate response you guys should have had. Like, I get it. Your feelings very valid. Like, he shouldn't have treated you that way. But his actions were very justified in the grand scheme of things. Like, who cares? Abby and Nick, you guys are together. Like, damage is done, whatever. Like, do you really care? Like, you guys are together. That should be it. Like, yeah, Simon, like, mistreated you, but you ended up being good friends with Martin, Abby, and you are now dating the guy that you like. I think Simon has real big issues that we should be focusing on and supporting him right now. So, that upset me, because they were just really unsupportive friends in that moment, and I really feel like they should have put that upsettingness aside, because I was like, you really just need to think about not yourself for a moment and realize that, like, Simon's going through some shit that's way more important than your issues right now, and you need to just be there for your friend. But they weren't. They were being selfish, and, like, I get it, your feelings are valid, but also, they're kind of not. In the grand scheme of what Simon's going through, I think y'all need to just stop. And then he goes through the whole scene where the two assholes are, like, being real homophobic to him and to Ethan, and then they're all just sitting there at the table, and they still don't come talk to him, and I'm like, wow, you're seeing him being openly harassed and you're just not doing anything. I really feel like good friends in that time would just put aside their differences and just be there for each other, but you know, what do I know? That just really bothered me, but my friend said in the book that they don't do that, because that makes sense. That really upset me. But other than that, the friends were really good. I really loved Abby. She's a wonderful character. Really loved Nick. He was also a wonderful character. I feel like there could have been more with their characters. We could have just developed them a little bit more. Because they were just sort of there. They were there, and I understand their importance to the plot and the importance to the story, but they were all just sort of like, Like, I could have taken, like, a 5-minute scene or something for all of them just hanging out to, like, establish the friendship. You know, just a little bit more. It's a good movie anyways. Let's talk about the teacher, the drama teacher. I forget her name, but my goodness was she the best. She was so goddamn funny. Like, every line that she said was just like on the nose, on the nose. Theater was cracking up. She was so funny. And when the two guys were like being assholes to Simon and Ethan, she was like shutting that shit down, and I was like, yes, queen. Everyone in the theater applauded for her because she's amazing. She is the teacher that every school needs, because she like clearly cares about the students and like wants them to do well, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I love her so much. But you know who else I love? Ethan. Ethan is such a good character. Like, I don't, like, in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't that important to the plot, but also he was. Like, he was, like, the out gay kid, and he was, like, so sure of himself, and every time those two assholes would come mess with him, he would always have a witty comeback, and I was like, oh my god. When the two assholes are like, oh, I didn't know that you like football. He's probably only here to check on the packages. And Ethan was like, didn't your mom ever tell you not to grab your micro penis in public? Can we get some hummus for this baby carrot? And I was dead. Like, that was delivered so perfectly. So much sass, so much composure. I was like, that's life goals right there. To be at that level of just like, I'm like, I don't even know what this is called, but like the thing that Beyonce has where she's just like up here, that's how you get to the fifth dimension. You just unlock that within you, and it was just amazing. Ethan is such a good character. Big fave, big fave. The principal, or the vice principal, I think is what he said, he was also a hoot. I love how all the adult characters weren't boring. Like, and they weren't overtly trying to be funny either. Like, people, I think a lot of the time just write adults wrong. Like, they either try to write them to be like too funny so that they seem like real, but they're really just like, no one actually says that. Or they try to be like too stiff, but these were like perfectly made adults. Like, they were like real people, but they also had like that aspect of maturity, and like they were just like adults. Like, they were real, and it was amazing. Like, the vice principal, like, that's how everyone knows that weird teacher that works at the school that shares just a bit too much and is just a bit too open, and you're like, okay dude, I gotta go. Now that we're on the subject of adults, let's talk about Simon's parents, because oh my god, Simon's parents were the best part of this movie. They were so sweet. They were so sweet. They were so caring. Like, they so clearly cared about Simon so much. And when Simon came out to them, it was just so sweet. Like, his mom said, "You don't have to change a thing about yourself," and I'm like, what a mom! Like, she so clearly cares about her son and she just wants him to be happy. And she was like, "I can tell that you've been holding a secret, but I didn't want to pry, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do," because she just wants to be a good mom. And I'm just like, what a good mom! What a good mom! But Simon's dad is the one that really fucked me up. Oh my god. When he was talking to him and he was just like, "I want it to be 100% clear that I still love you, like, and like, you're no different in my eyes, like, I just..." Like, and he felt bad that Simon felt like he couldn't tell them, like he missed out like 4 years, and I was just like, oh my god, just what a good dad, what a good dad. And then he was like, "Maybe we can sign up for Grindr together," and Simon was like, "I don't think you know what that is." And he was like, "Yeah, it's the Facebook for gay people." Like, no, it's not. That was, it was just like the epitome of dads. It's like it embodied a father so much. And it was lovely. His parents are amazing. But let's talk about the main subject of the story. Blue. As a person who has not read the novel, I didn't know who Blue was, and I was going on this fucking wild roller coaster because I saw Bram and I saw the way that the camera was looking at them. I was like, he is importante to the story. Is he Blue? And my friend was looking at me, and then so I was like, okay, that has to be Blue. But then he had that whole scene where he was kissing that girl, and I was like, oh wait, who is Blue? And then it switched to Lyle, the guy that worked at the waffle place, and then it wasn't him because he was also into females, and then we thought it was the guy at the drama club, but then Simon asked him and it wasn't him, and then we get to the final scene where he's riding on the Ferris wheel again and again and again and again. And I was so worried. Me and my friend's little sister that was there, we were both like freaking out because we really thought that they were gonna do a switcheroo at the end and be like, "Oh, no one shows up and the real love is within you," and we wouldn't have been here for that. Because yes, self-love is important, but no, that's not what the story's about. And then Bram walks out from the crowd and everyone in the theater just starts screaming, and I'm just like, oh my god, it is him! It is him! And oh my god, Bram is so cute, and him and Simon are so cute, and then they have this whole conversation. Like, I love Bram, and I love how he is not white. That is very importante. Like, anyone who says this movie isn't diverse can fight me. Like, this movie could have been so much more white, but they made the love interest Jewish and black and gay. Like, I was gonna say, what more can you want? But like, I know there's more that we want, but also, what more can you want? Like, that's amazing. That's such a big step from movies that we have gotten previously. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Bram really got me fucked up. And then they like are on the Ferris wheel, and then they get to the top, and then they kiss. And I thought it was gonna be one of those cop-out moments where they just have a little peck, and you're just like, what the fuck was that? But no, they kiss, and they meet it, and you see the love, and they really do care about each other. It was amazing. Okay, I'm filming this part the next day because throughout the day I like forgot about a part that like really like melted my heart that I needed to share. So in like the whole Halloween party part, it was like the most adorable thing because Simon just really wanted to impress Bram, and it was so cute. And like Nick was like, "You don't drink alcohol," and Simon was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and he just like takes all of the alcoholic beverages and he is a mess. But then he sings karaoke with Bram, and it's so cute. And Bram's costume, he was after being a president, Barack Obama, and it was the best costume ever. It was so cute. Like, Bram is such a lovable character. I love Bram so much. A lot of people, and not just like people who make movies, but a lot of people put this assumption that because two people are gay, they automatically just have to be with each other. And that's like the most dumb and annoying thing, because I'm like, just because two people are straight doesn't mean they have to be with each other. I've heard just so many awful stories of people like, "Oh, I know this other guy who likes guys, how about you should date him?" I'm like, why would you ever say that to a person? Like, that's so dumb. There's not one single criteria for dating when you like the same sex. It's not just they also like the same sex. They, you know, people are people. People still have types. And it's the most annoying thing, but like, they didn't do that in this movie. Like, they really genuinely liked each other. They didn't just like each other because they were the only gay kids at school. Like, they actually liked each other. They got the time to get to know each other. And they actually, like, cared about each other. And then Simon has this whole thing where he's talking to Leah and he's just like, I'm in love with him. And I'm like, bitch. It got me fucked up. It was such a sweet, what a moment. What a moment. It just, this movie really got me fucked up. The coffee part, oh my god, the coffee part where you see all the 4 coffees getting put into the cart at the beginning, and then when Simon's all alone because he was abandoned by his rat friends, he has 1 coffee, but then at the end he has 5 because Bram is with him, and it was the best moment. Oh my god. When they're all driving to pick up Bram and Leah gets out of the front seat so that Bram can sit next to him, and then they kiss hello, and it fucks me up. It's so sweet. They're so sweet. Like, everyone deserves a good love story. They were so in love. Like, yes! It was lovely. I also really love Simon's sister. I really don't know if she got a name, because if she did, I didn't pay that much attention. But she was so sweet. She came to go talk to Simon after she saw that his post was leaked. And she was all like, what are you gonna do? And she was just trying to help. But Simon was in a lot of distress, so he didn't really want help. And then she started crying and it was so sad. But she just cared about Simon. And then Simon got her like the thing with what's a mixer, a blender, but it's one of the ones that you move. You know what I'm talking about. He got her one of those for Christmas and it was so sweet. Because she just wants to be a chef and it was so sweet. What a good little sister. Truly the best. And I'm really happy with how fast this movie picked up, because I was really worried that there was gonna be like a really long stretch of the movie where he was like just being straight Simon, and like halfway through he was gonna like meet Blue, but no, it was like 10 minutes in, they were like, here is the plot. I was like, good, thank you. There's so many movies that just wait so long to get into the plot, and I'm like, it's so annoying. But that was lovely. But I'm realizing now, the one character I haven't talked about because I just want to extract him from my memory, Martin. I have already said that I want to punch him so many times, but I do. Whenever I see his face, I just want to punch it. Because he's such an awful person. Like, first of all, I am a drama nerd. So, like, seeing that Simon and Abby were, like, in the drama group was everything. Because I was like, yes, relatable, me, legit me. But then Martin is there and his bad acting. It was a wild. It was an experience to watch. And then Simon gets off of the computer and his email's still logged on, and I'm like, why would you do that, my boy? But then Martin sees it and then he reads his emails, which is such an awful thing to do. Like, you don't do that. You just don't. That's just why. What kind of asshole? And he was like, oh, they were just like right there in front of me. Like, no, you're just a dick. Like, no one does that unless you're an actual monster. That was very upsetting. And then he screenshotted them in order to blackmail Simon to help him get with Abby. And it was the most uncomfortable thing ever, because it was so clear that Abby just wasn't into him. But they have this one, like, sweet scene at the Waffle House that was okay. He was tolerable then. But then, like, he interrupts the whole, like, homecoming game during the national anthem to ask Abby out, and it was the most uncomfortable thing. If I was there, I would have been like, no, fuck you, what are you doing? But Abby, sweet Abby, she walks down to where he is and she says in the most like kind of respecty way, she just lets him down. She's like, I don't like you that way, but I'm like, we can still be friends. And she was just so kind and respectful. Like, honestly, the highest level of maturity. What a sweet girl. I love Abby. I don't love the way she reacted to what Simon did, but I love Abby. And that was just lovely. But in retaliation, Martin out Simon, which is the most disgusting thing I think you could do. Like, what? No. That shouldn't, no. And he says that his brother is gay. So, like, just think for a moment about how that would feel for not only just you, but your brother to go through that. Like, that's so terrible. Like, no, you don't do that to a person. But he did, and basically just like destroyed Simon's life, and that was fun. But he's like, kind of disgusting. Hello, me again. I also wanted to talk about how much I hate Martin and how his voicemail box is him doing an impression of Donald Trump. Like, I think that just sends a big message about how much he is not a good person and how much we should hate Martin, because I hate Martin, and that was just awful. Also, that moment when Simon's on his, like, computer on, like, the gossip page website, and you can see all the comments to the side, and one of the comments says, "I miss Barack," and, like, same. Like, I also miss Barack. And then after the whole altercation with the two assholes and Simon and Ethan, Simon's walking out of school, and Martin comes to talk to him, trying to apologize, and he's like, "I didn't know that would happen. I didn't know things still happen nowadays." And, like, I get it, but also, it's not your place. Like what Simon said. Like, my friend said that they lifted the whole monologue from the book into the movie, which was perfect, because, you know, PG-13, you get one F-bomb, and that was the perfect place to use it. Like, he goes on, like, this whole, like, beautiful, wonderful speech about how it wasn't Martin's place to decide, like, how that would mess up his life. It's, like, coming out on his terms, like, who he tells, when he tells them. That was supposed to be his thing, but Martin just ruined that. And it was just such a wonderful speech that I could not even put into words, because it's just, my mind just can't, it was beautiful. It was a perfect place to drop the F-bomb, and everyone in the theater, like, applauded, because it was beautiful. It was wonderful. I love Simon. I love Simon. One of my favorite parts of the movie, that became my favorite part because of the trailer, is when Simon's talking to Nick, and Nick's like, "Are you into Abby?" And Simon's like, "Oh, no, she's not my type. Not because she's black. Like, I love black women. Not like I have a thing for black women. I just love all women." That part was so good. Because it's just like, this movie really just takes you on, like, a roller coaster of emotions. Like, you don't have time to cry. At least I didn't, because you're just like you're feeling sad and you're feeling the emotions, but then they hit you with a really good joke and you're just like cracking up laughing. Like, this movie is just so good. Like, all the jokes are funny. Like, they really, like, there's movies where you could just tell they're just trying to be funny. You're just like, none of the jokes are landing, but the jokes hit hard in this movie. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. Also, I didn't like how they changed it from the books, because in the books, as my friend has told me, they are in junior year, but in the movie they're in senior year, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because that means that Bram and Simon didn't get to go to prom together, and that's not okay. Like, I'm not even a person who likes prom. I hate the idea of prom, but the fact that Bram and Simon didn't get the option to go to prom together really makes me mad. Like, they just, like, got together, and then, oops, we're graduating, guess we're moving away from each other, and I'm like, no, they deserve a year together. Like, why would you change it to senior year? That makes no sense. Like, there doesn't seem to be a reason to do that. Because then it makes his motivation for not coming out stronger, because he wants to keep things the same, because he has, like, another year of high school left. So, like, why would you... I don't see the reason for changing it, and it upsets me, because, like, Ram and Simon, they don't get to be together for as long as they want them to be together, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. If you're watching this without having watched the movie, please go watch the movie. It is an amazing movie. And like I said in my first video, my not spoiler video, that I strongly recommend that you watch, everyone needs to see this movie so that we can get more movies like this. More movies where the stories are important. More movies where these stories need to be told. Like, this movie is so important. So, if you haven't gathered from this whole video, I love the movie, and I strongly recommend that everybody needs to go watch it. Like, invite everyone that you know to go watch it. I want every theater filled across America, across the world. I need this movie to do well. Go watch the movie.